with her former salon.
She displayed on Facebook that I owed her $1,200.
You filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
This is Judge Judy. Hairdresser Sean T. Jackson Washington is suing salon owner Lucretia Munns for defamation of character and loss of business.
Judge, this is case number 52 on the calendar, the matter of Jackson Washington versus Munns. Parties have been sworn in. Ladies can have a seat.
Thank you. Ms. Washington, you're a hairdresser.
Yes.
And so is the defendant, correct?
Yes.
For some time, you rented a chair in the defendant's salon. When did you start renting a chair to do your work in her salon?
It was around a year and a half ago.
How much did you pay her? Did you pay her per week, per month?
$100 a week.
And Ms. Munn, do you own the salon or do you lease it from someone else?
I own the business, but I lease the shopping center where my salon stands.
That's what it's your business, I understand that, but the premises is not a premises that you own, you lease it.
Correct.
How long have you leased the premises and from whom?
For 2 years from Jake's Plaza, the
rent.
$1,200.
And I assume you have a lease.
Yes, I do.
When does that lease expire?
It goes month to month. It started month to month in April.
April of 2020, it started to go month to month. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Prior to the governor of California shutting down because of the pandemic all beauty salons, was Miss Washington paying her $100 a week on a regular basis?
She sure was.
And the governor closed beauty salons in March.
March 19th,
correct?
Yes.
Very close to the time when your lease was up in the salon.
Yes.
And you were going month to month.
Correct.
Did you pay rent to Jake's Plaza for the salon in April of 2020?
I paid it in June for April. Yes.
That's not what I asked you. You did not pay it in April.
No, I did not pay it in April.
Did you pay rent to Jake's in May?
No, I did not pay it in May.
Then the governor allowed salons to open.
Correct. For 2 weeks.
Did you pay anything in June?
Yes.
How much?
$3,600.
Did the governor permit salons to remain open?
No. He shut them down 2 weeks later.
And that's after you had paid up your rent?
Correct.
April and May. He or Jake's Plaza was not going to let you back into the building unless you made up the rent.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. Now we're all set on that. Now, it is your claim that when COVID struck, you decided that it was a perfect opportunity for you to try to branch out on your own and have a mobile beauty salon.
Yes.
Very inventive, very smart. It is your claim that the defendant has a couple of items that you left behind in the salon when it was closed.
Not true.
Yes.
Some hair extensions.
Yes.
No, she didn't leave any extensions.
Yes. Now, did you have an opportunity to go into the salon and take your items? The answer is yes.
Yes.
And I assume that you had a lot of items there because you were working there.
I didn't have a lot of items. Basically, the things that I had was underneath my station.
And where were these extensions?
The extensions were in a bag that was under inside of the salon.
Where?
They were next to a microwave that was in a cabinet underneath.
That's my hair. She's not telling the truth.
Just a second. You should have taken them. Do you have her hair extensions?
No, I do not. I sell hair.
Do you have her hair extensions? Part of your lawsuit is defamation of character.
Yes.
How did she defame you?
Facebook is where you advertise your business. You have thousands of people who are your friends on Facebook, and whatever.
I don't have 1,000. Just a second. So listen to me. I know what Facebook is.
Okay.
I don't have 1,000 friends. That's why I'm not on Facebook. You know, it would get very lonely in there with the 1 or 2 people that like me and that I like. So I communicate with them on the phone. So you're lucky if you have thousands of people who watch you on Facebook. My question was a simple one. How did she defame you? What did she say, and in what venue did she say it?
She displayed on Facebook that I owed her $1,200 in booth rent.
Never.
And she had all these
Never.
stylists and different people commenting. I have.
Just 1 second. May I see what you're complaining about?
Yes.
Because what she says is you owe her $1,200 in booth rent, and I would assume that that's booth rent after the governor had closed the salon and you were not paying rent.
No,
but
still...
after June, when you started to pay, I would, let me see, I have to do a Karnak. Anybody know who Karnak was? What's in this envelope?
No.
I would assume that these Facebook posts were made sometime after June.
Yes, they were actually made on the 13th of September.
Of September?
Yes.
Oh, she must have been very angry. Okay.
Yes.
May I see that, please? Yeah. Well, you know, just like you stiffed your landlord, she did the same to you. That's exactly what happened.
Judge Judy,
may I please see what you're complaining about?
Okay. This is her question on Facebook, and...
Okay, just a second. This question is for independent hair salons. Is that what you're complaining about, where she defamed you?
No, I have 18 pages.
Show me where she defamed you on Facebook.
These are all Facebook.
She rented out rooms. Where is your name in there?
She never said my name because she knew proper protocol on Facebook. However, I do have a witness here that read what she put on Facebook. She called me not to say my name, and she told her witnesses not to say my name.
Okay, that's dismissed. We have nothing. Let's get to your counterclaim. Ms. Munns, this is your counterclaim. You say that she filed a restraining order against you that had no basis.
No basis at all, Your Honor.
Miss Washington, pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
Did you file a restraining order against her? The answer is yes.
Yes, because I have a Facebook.
Just a second. You say you filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
Yes,
That's what you say?
Yes.
Did she say that to you?
No,
personally?
She said it
on Facebook. Or did she write it somewhere? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
You know, I speak the truth. If anyone thought they could sneak up on my husband, I'm pressing something upside the head. Okay. You felt threatened by that. Is that what you're telling me?
I felt threatened by everything that she said, from calling my husband and fake on Facebook.
Okay.
I have my witness here that read it on Facebook, and she knew I was talking about me and my husband.
Miss Washington.
Yes.
Pay attention. We're finished with your lawsuit. I've dismissed that lawsuit.
All right.
Now I'm on her counterclaim. Her counterclaim is that you filed a false protective order against her. Your defense is that while she was careful on Facebook not to mention you by name, you believed she was talking about you when she threatened to put something against somebody's head.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, Ms. Munns, I'm going to deal with the part of your counterclaim that deals with filing a false restraining order. That's dismissed.
Why is that dismissed?
I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
Because the plaintiff believed that as a result of your Facebook posts, she believed that you were talking about her. Now, you probably were.
I was absolutely not.
And when there is a hint of a threat, which there was.
Can I please pick this up? Because that is...
No.
I'm literally
telling you, I read it. She felt threatened. Reasonably Facebook posts, while they don't mention her by name, I believe she had reason to believe that you were referencing her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You didn't pay your rent when you were supposed to, and the only way you got back into your shop was to pay up the 2 months that you didn't pay. That's when you got angry and said to her, I want my rent.
And later today,
You ate the steak. You and your mother lived in a place and paid rent, and then you continued to live there and not pay rent. Why would you think you're entitled to the rent back?
hairdresser Sean T. Jackson Washington says salon owner Lucretia Munns defamed her on Facebook. Lucretia is countersuing for stolen and damaged property, rent, and loss of business.
Now, what property did she take without permission?
A human hair wig that she wore and used.
Okay, just a sec. Hey, tell me the things that she took without your permission. A wig, and what else?
And a blow dryer.
Do you have those things, Miss Washington?
Yes, I have them with me today.
You have the wig and the blow dryer.
Yes.
Give them to
Burn them. They're saturated. I can't resell them. That's saturated.
Done.
That no one is going to repurchase it.
Done. Okay, now the last part of your counterclaim is for rent. For what period of time are you alleging that she owes you rent?
It's also for damages to the floor. She
Up,
owes me
for what period of time
from
do you
April
allege she
1st
owes you rent?
until she said that she was holding the chair until July.
That case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much.
What about the damage to
Did
my
you pay
floor?
rent in? Did you?
Yes, I did, and here's
did
my
you pay rent
canceled
in
checks.
No.
Here's all my canceled
Just a
checks.
second.
I paid them all.
No.
I paid all the
Yeah,
rent.
Miss Munn, let's understand this. You didn't pay rent in April. You didn't pay rent in May.
It says right
When
here,
Ju-
rent for July, May, and April. So I did pay it.
You're not getting
I'm not
over on
trying
me.
to get over on you. I'm
You're
trying
not-
to explain something
Well,
to you.
then
And
you
what,
have to-
can I please
I
explain this to you?
understand it.
When we were
You
shut
don't have
down,
to
we didn't
explain
have
it.
money to pay those bills. As soon as we got our pandemic relief to pay our bills, she was still responsible for her portion of the rent. She rents a space to run a business out of, just like at your house and your business. I paid it.
You know, I'm not a moderator.
I
Cut
paid
off
it.
her mic. You didn't pay your rent when you were supposed to pay up the 2 months that you didn't pay, and then the governor shut you down again. That's when you got angry and said to her, I want my rent. Goodbye. We're done. Finito.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
We were all supposed to pay our rent.
Jealous of what I got planned, my mobile hair salon.
I wish her the best in that.
She was paid, and she was trying to get money from me. She was trying to double dip.
At the end of the day, you have to fulfill your obligations as a salon independent contractor.
The friendship is done forever.
All parties in the matter of Taylor versus Wild, step to the podium, please.
Michael Taylor is suing his former landlord, Lucy Wild, for the return of rent and relocation costs after an illegal lockout.
Let me see if I understand this case. It seems, Mr. Taylor, that you and your mother moved into a premises as tenants in September of 2019. Premises that was owned by the defendant. At the time you moved into that place, that area, you had in fact seen it. And it was in fact, according to you, in a state of disrepair, needed a window. But you moved in anyway. And you lived there in September. Rent did you pay?
It was $1,400 a month.
You paid $1,400 in September, $1,400 in October, $1,400 in November.
Yes.
And I assume that both you and your mother worked in order to make this money.
My mother was not working at the time. I was working.
What kind of work do you do?
I am a bartender, waiter in the hospitality industry, and I also am a music producer, mix engineer, which I do freelance.
Okay. Then in December, you and your mother were still living there, but you did not pay rent.
No,
correct?
that's not true. I paid rent.
In December.
In December.
Now, at some point, you called some housing authority
Yes.
to register complaints about the house. When did you do that?
I made my complaint in December.
Okay. As a result of that complaint, the city where you live sent out an inspector.
Yes.
And after the inspection, the premises were found to be premises that should not be rented.
Correct.
Is that correct, Ms. Wild?
Yes, it is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you are renting out an apartment and it's an illegal apartment, a court can't give you rent for that. Even though he ate the steak. And you know, I don't approve of eating the steak and then...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Taylor says his former landlord, Lucy Wild, owes for the return of rent and relocation costs after an illegal lockout. Lucy is countersuing for unpaid rent.
Okay. Does anybody have a photograph of where you were living?
I do have some pictures, yes.
Could I see it, please?
Sure.
You and your mother lived there. You evidently thought it was nice enough for you and your mother to live there. It looks like it's a sort of an attic-y loft kind of place.
Correct. It was.
Is that correct?
It was a loft.
Does it have a bathroom?
It does.
It does. Okay. Very good. But they said she shouldn't have been renting it because it probably wasn't zoned. I mean, the place looks totally reasonable. Okay. So after that, you knew, Miss Wild, that you shouldn't be renting it, even though he and his mother were perfectly comfortable there, September, October, November, and December, because you stayed January, February, March, April, and May, and didn't pay rent, right?
I paid rent in January, and then I didn't pay rent in February and on, yeah.
Well, okay, so you paid rent in January. Why?
I didn't...
You liked it.
Well,
I mean, $1,400.
I did like it. And I paid rent.
So you liked it? Then why did you stop in February?
Because the city told me that it was to collect rent.
Now, you're suing because you want your money back that you paid her.
Yes.
You ate the steak. You know what that means? If you go into a restaurant and you order a steak, and the steak comes out and you taste it, and you say, gee, this steak is terrible. I can't eat this steak. And you call the wait staff over, you're that business, and you say, I can't chew this steak. It feels like rubber. I'm sending it back. You are perfectly within your rights not to pay for it. Not if you eat the steak and then call over the wait staff and say, you know what, I ate that steak. I really didn't like it, and I'm not going to pay for it. You and your mother lived in a place, and while you were living there, you paid rent. And then you continued to live there and not pay rent. Why would you think you're entitled to the rent back? Had you ever rented that space before, Miss Wild?
Yes, one other time. That was news to me that it was not a registered rental when he...
And when you called the whatever housing authority you called, what was your complaint?
My complaint was that I was still missing the window because she hadn't installed the window. And, well, that was it. Because after months of trying to get them to do the work, I did research on habitability and tenant rights, an issue and be deemed as an illegal unit. So that was the initial complaint.
Steak.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you understand, Miss Wild, you have a countersuit, and your countersuit is for the time that Mr. Taylor and his mother lived there without paying rent. But you do understand, Miss Wild, that if you are renting out an apartment and it's an illegal apartment, for whatever reason, a court can't give you rent for that. You do understand that, right? That would be silly. I mean, if the state says you're not allowed to rent that apartment, and what your countersuit is for the rent that he didn't pay when he was living there, I can't do that, even though he ate the steak. And, you know, I don't approve of eating the steak and then complaining. Do you understand, Mr. Taylor?
I do.
Good.
Coming from the hospitality.
Your claim is dismissed, as is your countersuit. We're done. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy...
Her car was totaled. She ended up in the hospital the day. I'm going to make you look so ridiculous.
There was no insurance on it.
Judge Judy.
There was a reason why I called Housing Authority. It was because she hadn't done work for months that was making my house uninhabitable.
No, they had a gorgeous place. It was beautiful.
It was like living in a circus.
I think that's what they do.
I was due relocation costs because that's why I didn't move.
They're just squatters.
Did did you see her riding the bike?
I did not see her.
A driver who couldn't care less.
She collided into my bike, and I had to stop my fall before I was hit by a truck. She said, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school."
Or a cyclist going against the flow.
You were coming from the opposite direction. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic.
This is Judge Judy. Bicyclist Kalinda Watts is suing motorist Alyssa Mincher for running into her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Judge, this case number 116 on the calendar in the matter of Watts versus Mincher. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, ma'am.
Miss Watts, this accident happened about 2 years ago. A campus job that you had. Where do you go to school?
I attended Chico State University.
This incident happened on October 17th of 2018. Approximately what time?
Around 7:51 a.m.
So in the daylight?
Yes.
You were riding your bicycle, and it is your claim that the defendant hit you on the bike. You were injured, wore a knee brace, etc. The defendant says the accident was your fault. So let's try to figure it out, and then we'll try to figure out what took you 2 years to get here. You were riding in the street, correct, with traffic?
Yes, well...
You were traveling in the street where cars travel, not on the sidewalk?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you traveling with traffic or against traffic?
I was riding against traffic. At that time, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to, and I was against.
I don't care whether you knew it or not.
Okay.
Whether you knew it is not relevant. You live in California. This incident happened in California. In California, it's illegal to drive against traffic. You know that now.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know that now because, according to, I think what I read, you did at some point consult an attorney.
Yes, Your Honor. I did have an attorney, and he gave it to his assistant, which is my paralegal, who is with me today.
You no longer have that attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And I would suggest it's very difficult unless you can show some extraordinary reason, like the defendant was intoxicated, high, texting, doing something that was grossly negligent, that when you're committing an act that is illegal under California law, which is driving against traffic, very hard to prove that somebody else is culpable for an accident. So now you're traveling against traffic. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. According to your complaint, you were coming up to a driveway, the driveway of an apartment complex. So you tell me what happened.
Okay. On my way riding to school in the bike path, I saw a car pulling out of the driveway. At first, I had stopped to make sure that she knew that I was riding my bike. She had made a stop, a complete stop, and while I was riding from her right, she was only looking towards the left side, not looking both ways. So I was trying to make eye contact with her while I was riding my bike, also trying to acknowledge her. I was waving, and I kept saying, "Hey," so she knew that I was approaching. And by the time that I was trying to pass her, she collided into my knee and my bike, and I had to stop my fall. Could have been hit by a truck, correction, I'm sorry.
So it sounds to me like she did everything right. She stopped. She came to a complete stop. She was looking to make a right-hand turn.
Yes, Your Honor.
She looked to her left to make sure that there were no cars coming to her left so that she could make a right-hand turn. You were coming from the opposite direction, riding the wrong way, and she didn't see you. If you stopped before the driveway, actually stopped before the driveway, you wouldn't have gotten hit. Am I getting something? Is something not registering with me?
No, Your Honor. You're actually correct. All I knew was I was just trying to acknowledge her so she knew that I was coming towards the bike path.
But clearly, because she doesn't look like a nut job, and she wasn't drunk at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, and she came to a full stop. So you're not suggesting to me, Miss Watts, that you tried to make contact with her. You actually did make contact with her so that she acknowledged that you were there and that you could go, and she accelerated anyway and hit you on purpose. You're not suggesting that to me.
No, Your Honor.
Well, what theory do you have that would suggest to me that she's responsible for this accident? Just because you were on a smaller bike? What's your theory?
Yes, I am not. The only problem that I had was after she hit me, I At that time, I was struck. I didn't know the protocol of, getting people's information or their insurance. All I asked was when after we collided, she looked at me and she said, "I'm sorry, but I'm running late for school." And I told her that I was on my way to school as well, the same campus that we attend at the time. And all she did was give me her number. She put it in my phone, and there was a witness that was there that pulled over and saw the accident at the time. And she got back in her car, gave me my phone, got back in her car, and she just left. I tried to get in contact with her the next day because I told her I didn't want to file a lawsuit. I didn't want to sue her or anything because I was dealing with the physical pain from the handlebars colliding into my rib cage, and I went to the hospital that same day, just stating about, I just told her once I got in contact with Alyssa at the time, I told her, all I want is for you to just pay for the medical bills. That's it. I didn't want anything else. I didn't want to press charges. When I told my family, they told me it was best that I got her insurance information because that's what you're supposed to do when you get into an accident. So she just kept there, once again, I don't want to sue you. I don't want to press charges. I just want your insurance information because that's the protocol that we're supposed to do, and that's what my family requested. She hung up in my face. Yeah. I kept calling her. She did not answer and was ignoring my calls. I sent her a text message that on the 19th, just reinstating that I didn't want to sue or do anything. All I wanted was her insurance information. And she still never responded.
What did you want? Just a second. Just a second. She should have given you her insurance information, except the accident was your fault. I mean, protocol was she should have given you her insurance. But according to what you told me, Ms. Watts, according to your testimony and what I read in the complaint, the accident was your fault. You were driving illegally on the wrong side of the street. She came to a full stop at her parking lot and didn't see you traveling the wrong side of the street. And as you said, the two of you collided. Now, let us assume that you were not hurt and you didn't have sore ribs and you didn't have a sore knee for a few weeks. Let's say you were not hurt at all, but your bicycle scratched up her car and she had a counterclaim that your bicycle scratched her car. I would dismiss your lawsuit and grant her counterclaim because the accident was your fault. The fact that you were hurt is sad, and ignorance of the law is no excuse. You now know, and the attorney that you spoke to told you that California law says that you must drive in the direction of traffic, and it's illegal to do so otherwise. And I'm sure the attorney told you that.
Yes, Your Honor, and I take full responsibility.
Well, if you do, then you understand that I'm dismissing your lawsuit. Just because there's an accident and somebody gets hurt, it doesn't mean that it's somebody else's fault. Now, there's no question, Ms. Mincher, that you should have given her your insurance information because that's up to other people to make a judgment like I'm doing today. Did you have insurance on your car?
I did, yes.
In October of 2018?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What make and model car do you have?
At the time, it was a 1995, let's see. It was a 1995 Buick. It was a white vehicle. I'm not too sure what model it is.
Okay, Ms. Mincher. The plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you use the same bicycle that you had used?
I've never touched my bike again.
And later today.
I want to know where June's rent was.
Where June's rent was?
Yeah, you were supposed to pay $350 for June. Why didn't you pay it?
Bicyclist Kalinda Watts says she was injured after motorist Alyssa Mincher collided with her when Alyssa pulled out of a driveway.
Now, the plaintiff tells me, true or not, that she tried to make eye contact with you. Did you see her riding the bike?
No.
In the opposite direction of traffic?
I did not see her.
Before the accident occurred?
I did not see her.
Did you continue to your job that day?
No, Your Honor. I sat in the parking lot waiting for my supervisor at the time to come pick me up, and she took me home.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And did you use the same bicycle that you had used the day before?
No, Your Honor. Ever since that accident, I've never touched my bike again.
How did you get to your job?
I started taking the local bus.
Smart. Where is the bicycle? Where was it in October, November? Did you sell it? Give it away?
No, Your Honor. I had left it parked at the apartment complex that I lived in at that time.
Moved and left it there?
Yes, but I ended up getting rid of it, yes, Your Honor. I didn't sell it.
How did you get rid of it?
Selling it for parts. I needed the finances, dealing with my own financial problems. So I just gave certain parts away. The tires, they were already flat from the accident, so I just threw what I could away that was left over.
Okay. All right, fine. Ms. Watts, I'm glad I could finally give you a little bit of closure. I know that you probably had a little bit of it through your attorney. No, you have the paralegal here. I don't need the paralegal. It's clear that not every accident that has an injury results in an award of damages. There has to be a demonstration that the person who was the cause of that accident. In this case, she was not the cause of the accident. You were. Unfortunately, you got hurt. But I'm glad you're better and moved on. So your case is dismissed and we're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I take full responsibility of my actions.
All I remember from it was I was about to turn. I saw a flash in front of me.
Yes, I did go to the hospital.
And I stopped immediately, and I know that it was her fault, but I felt really bad.
I've dealt with depression, anxiety, PTSD from that. I went to counseling for a whole year just trying to process that.
He told me to get back into the parking lot, and I did so and continued to try and help her out.
Still haven't ridden a bike after that, so it's still, a huge impact.
I'm glad that we've gotten closure and I don't have to deal with this anymore. It's been 2 years.
I take full responsibility of my actions, so, getting a resolution and just being able to have an understanding of, what went down. I'm just honored to even be here, so.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Keffer versus Aragon, step forward.
24-year-old Jenny Keffer is suing her former roommate, 25-year-old Amber Aragon, for unpaid rent after she broke their lease and moved in with her boyfriend.
All right, Miss Aragon, I'm going to start with you. You and the plaintiff rented an apartment together. You had a lease on the apartment. It was just the two of you on the lease. So far, is that correct?
Yes.
And when did you sign that lease?
I think it was the end of December.
2012?
Yes. I believe so.
Don't ask me. It's not a question. When did you sign the lease?
January 1st, 2013.
And it was a one-year lease?
No, it was a 6-month lease.
When did you move out?
May 20th.
So you moved out prior to the termination of the lease because, according to you, you couldn't afford to pay the rent anymore.
Yes.
Ms. Keffer was able to find somebody for the month of June who she found to come in, who was prepared to pick up a portion of your rent for the month of June. So she was trying to limit your liability. And what she wants from you is your portion of the rent that was not covered by this roommate that she found on a short-term lease, which was $350, and a $50 late fee, because she said that you were really supposed to pay that rent to the rental office. You didn't, so she had to pay $400. Can I see the check for $400?
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to say to me, Miss Aragon?
Yes, I had every intention of paying the $350, but Jenny was withholding a workers' comp check. I was involved in a bad car accident on April 30th. I expressed to Jenny, I came to her and told her that I was having financial difficulties because of the car accident.
I heard that you were having financial difficulties. You still owe the $350.
Exactly.
By the way, the check here is just for $350, not a $50 late fee, so it's $350.
Exactly.
So did you move out?
I moved out on May 20th.
Did you pay the $350?
I did not, because she was withholding my workers' comp check. I had no money. I had no...
Just a second. How could she be withholding it if you moved out in May?
Well, I have that it was issued June 13th, and then it had to be reissued again because I had to put a void on the check. So where June's rent was.
Yeah, you were supposed to pay $350 for June. Why didn't you pay it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why are you still living there?
The new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it.
No, she didn't. No, dear. You are incorrect.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jenny Keffer says her ex-roommate, Amber Aragon, broke their lease Amber is countersuing for the return of her security deposit.
Now, Miss Aragon, did you pay the $350?
I did not, because she was withholding my workers' comp check.
Your workman's comp check wasn't issued until June 13th. Rent is due the 1st of the month. And I'm asking you, do you have any reason, just reason, why you didn't pay on the 1st of June the $350?
Because I didn't have the financial means.
That's the answer. It's not because she was withholding your mail, because the check wasn't issued until after the rent was due, right?
I understand, yes.
Okay, so that's part of your counterclaim. But the reason you didn't pay her is not because she was withholding your mail. The reason you didn't pay her is because you say you didn't have the money, right?
Well, because she was withholding the check. It was just reissued after the fact.
I'll need my money.
Can I?
Look, give me the date.
On June 8th.
That's the 8th. And when is rent due?
On the 1st.
On the 1st. So you didn't pay June's rent.
But
you skipped out on June's rent. And when you skipped out on June's rent, where did you go?
I went to...
Where did you go to live?
At my boyfriend's
apartment. You went to live with your boyfriend. So you owe her $350. Now, the only issue that I have with you actually, her counterclaim, the rest of the stuff is nonsense. Does she have a security deposit with you?
Well, it rolled over. She forfeited the security deposit when she signed her name off the lease.
Do you have a piece of paper saying that she forfeited her security deposit when she signed her name off the lease?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
This is her signing her name off the lease.
I just want to see that it says she forfeits her security deposit. It says the security deposit will be retained by the landlord until possession of the property is returned to the landlord. Have you done that?
No, I still live there.
Still live there?
So I didn't get any security deposit back.
Just a second. When was your lease up?
July 1st.
Well, why are you still living there?
Because the new roommate and I renewed our lease.
Then you owe her the security deposit.
She forfeited it.
No, she didn't. No, dear.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, just because you and your new roommate decided to stay on in the premises, her obligation under that lease would have terminated automatically. So you have to return her security deposit. How much did she put into the security deposit?
It was $580, and we split it. And then there's a $120 cleaning fee that the apartment automatically takes out when the lease is up. So 580 minus 120 is 460.
No. She owes you $100. You have a security deposit, you're going to get it back. Keep the apartment nice and clean. Anything else?
There's nothing as far as regarding the fact that she was withholding my check, and I was late on bills and everything like that because she was withholding my workers' comp check.
When did you finally get the check?
It was issued on June 13th. It came probably like 3 or 4 days after that.
So you got it within 3 days?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that much trouble because you were living with your boyfriend, right?
Well, I still have to pay rent with my boyfriend.
How much rent did you have to pay? I don't believe anything. Okay. You owe her $100. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
You gave him a credit card, then you gave him another card. That's not smart.
My bad.
Judge Judy.
I don't agree with the fact that I have to give her security deposit back because we never even discussed it.
I don't think that she was necessarily telling the complete truth.
I did her a favor and I found someone to take over her half of the rent, and she still couldn't afford to pay it.
I couldn't afford it because I got in a car accident. I didn't know exactly what my financial situation was going to be like.
She tried to find someone off Craigslist, but I am not about to live with some sketchy person off Craigslist.
I did look on Craigslist. I did ask around and see if anybody that I knew would be able to just basically take over the complete portion of the rent.
What friendship? We're not friends.
I don't know. It was kind of out of my hands, considering I got in a car accident. I couldn't afford it. So maybe drive careful.
Choose your roommates wisely.
I only have $1,000 to give you down. Can I make payments on the other $2,000?
But time ran out.
You took the car. You still have the car. And you didn't pay her the balance.
No, ma'am, I did not.
So give her the car back. She'll give you the $1,000 back.
I asked her if she would take the car back. She said no.
Judge Judy, she's not telling you the whole truth.
This is Judge Judy. Carol Althoff is suing Tracy Johnson for the unpaid balance on a car she sold her.
Judge, this is case number 16 on the calendar in the matter of Althoff versus Johnson. Parties have been sworn in. Sir, you may be seated.
Miss Althoff, you sold a car to the defendant. What kind of car was it that you sold?
It's a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta.
It didn't belong to you. It belonged to one of your kids.
Yes, it was my daughter's car. I was just the co-owner on the title.
How did you find the car?
I found the car through something called Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. And it was a 12-year-old car. You negotiated a price, correct, with the plaintiff, and the price was $3,000. Is that right?
Yes.
So, Miss Johnson, this is your problem. You bought a 12-year-old car for an agreed price of $3,000. Then you tell this perfect stranger, I only have $1,000 to give you down. Can I make payments on the other $2,000? She agreed. So far, am I correct?
Yes.
You didn't pay her the balance of $2,000.
No, ma'am, I did not. There's a reason why I did not, though.
Why did you think? Yeah, you said you spent a lot of money on it and you couldn't get it smogged. Is that right?
That is correct.
So give her the car back. She'll give you the $1,000 back.
I tried to give her the car back.
Else.
I tried to give Lauren, the person who I was dealing with, her daughter, the car back. The second day that I had it, I asked her if she would take the car back. She said no. Her father came to my door, and I asked him if he would take the car back, and he said no.
Just a second. All right, listen to me. They may have said no. Now we're in court. Okay. And now I'm telling you, you can't keep the car. You have to give it back to her. They'll give you back your $1,000. They'll sell it to somebody else.
Judge Judy, she's not telling you the whole truth.
Listen, I'm here to make things quick and easy. She can't have the car and not pay for it. She doesn't want the car, clearly. Is that right?
I can't use the car.
You clearly don't want the car. She can't use the car. According to her, she's put in some money into the car. Brakes and, well, that's her problem. I don't care about that. Then she was silly enough to do that before she had the whole thing tested and everything else. That's her problem. So you're getting back your car with new brakes. And what else did you do to the car?
I had the two back tires changed.
And you have 2 new tires.
I know my daughter doesn't want the car back. Well, the story with the smogging...
And you live in the state of California.
Yes, we do.
You can't sell a car in the state of California that can't be smogged.
What my daughter had arranged with her...
I don't care.
And, well,
it doesn't matter to me.
Well, she had arranged with the defendant that she had told her, I haven't had the car smogged, and I need to get it smogged. And this is the reason why, was because she had had some work done on the car, and when the car, they took it to be smogged, they said it wasn't ready, because when you unplug the battery, you have to wait with this particular car.
Listen, you're not paying attention to me, and I'm not hearing you. Now, you are A, not a mechanic. B, you can't tell me what she arranged with your daughter. That's hearsay. C, I'm here to resolve this matter. You're getting back a better car than you sold to her a couple of months ago. I assume you didn't take any cross-country trips because you couldn't drive the car. Is that correct?
I could not drive it because I couldn't register it.
Do you have the title to the car?
No, I never got the title to the car.
We gave her the title to the car, Judge.
Is it registered in your name?
No, it is not.
Because she did not go register it.
In whose name? Shh! Hey, listen to me. If you speak out again, I'm going to just dismiss your case. Do you understand that?
Yes,
This
I
is not
understand.
a party that we're at. In whose name is the car registered?
I believe it's Lauren's.
You never took it to DMV?
No, I did, but they told me that I couldn't register it because it didn't pass smog. It needed a smog certificate. So when I went to the smog place, it can't pass smog.
So the only person who's on the title is her daughter? And you?
I'm not sure.
And her?
And her, I think so. I think.
But you're not on the title?
No.
Very good.
Your Honor,
What?
may my witness testify to something?
You're getting the car back. That's it. You're getting the car back. And she gets the money that she put in. She paid you how much? $1,000?
Yes.
Right. That's what she gets back. Then she'll go buy another car and you'll find somebody else to sell this to, understanding that it did not pass smog twice. And if there are any specific directions that you need to tell somebody that you have to dance around it, click your heels 3 times and say, I want to go to Oz before you try to re-smog it, you'll give them those instructions. Right now, she's giving you back the car. She gets a $1,000 deposit back. You're getting a car with 2 new tires and new brakes. Goodbye. Be happy. Have a happy life. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
My daughter trusted somebody who said that they would make the payments.
I wanted the car when I wanted the car, and they should have had it smogged.
They had worked out the deal with what was going to go on with the smogging.
And I knew that, and I took the car anyways.
The lady canceled numerous times. My daughter was trying to work with her.
Don't have a friend test drive it for you, for starters.
And the lady, and my daughter trusted her, and she took advantage of her.
All parties in the matter of Pesanowski versus Morgan. Step to the podium, please.
Kendra Pesanowski is suing her former friend, Megan Morgan, for vet bills regarding the euthanizing of a dog.
Ms. Pegnowski, there is no way that this is a happy case. You had 3 small chihuahuas.
Yes.
You were moving from one apartment to another, and I must assume from the complaint that you filed, you could only take 2 of them with you.
Correct.
The oldest of those dogs was quite senior. How old?
She was 15.
And how old were the others?
They were 5 and 10.
So this is what happened. You had to make a difficult decision, either moving. And was it part of your lease that you could only have 2 dogs?
Yes.
And you made the decision that you would part with the older one, and you called a friend of yours, that's the defendant, and you asked her if she could take the 15-year-old.
Yes.
You do understand that that's sort of a big responsibility to ask someone else to do, to take an old dog, which is going to require care. The dog is quite senior. That's a sort of a big responsibility to ask someone else to do.
Yes.
But you did it anyway, and the defendant...
I have 5 chihuahuas.
She said she would take... Is it a boy or a girl that she took?
It was a girl, and she happily said she would take her. And the reason why I was going to...
Well, let me explain something to you. You asked her to do you a favor. So it's not that somebody's happy to take a 15-year-old dog. Someone says, I will do it because the alternatives sound awful. So you brought your older little girl to her house, and you gave her the dog.
Yes, she happily took the dog, and...
No, don't tell me happily. You gave her the dog. That's
Yes, ma'am.
either yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave her the dog. So now it's her dog.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant arrived at my house later that evening on the 28th of February. She stated that she couldn't keep the dog. I graciously accepted taking on the responsibility.
Miss Morgan.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Morgan, she had called you first. She didn't just
No, ma'am.
show up.
It wasn't a call. It was she reached out to me via text message on Messenger through Facebook.
Okay. Do you have those messages with you?
I do have the messages with me.
Would you read them to me, please?
Yes, ma'am. Hey girl, long time no talk to. I hope you're well and life's treating you great. I'm reaching out to you because I'm having to make the hardest decision of my life. I have to move to a place that I've lived at last minute that will take me with my horrible credit, but absolutely not 3 dogs. I thought long and hard, and I feel Tater would be the best to be put in a retirement home setting for senior dogs. But no one is working with me with Tater. She's mostly deaf and has some cataracts, but otherwise is very healthy. Well, shoot me a call. My number is, this is my response. So you're looking for a home for just Tater? Yeah, I'll take her. I mean, I already have 5, but what's 1 more? Oh my God, you're amazing. Call me. I'm in Ramona at the moment. I'll call you when I'm back in Lakeside. Okay, thank you, Megan. I can finally stop crying. That was on February 26th at 9:54 in the morning.
When did you drop the dog off? On the 26th, at what time?
At around noon, she came to my home.
Okay, and then tell me what happened to the dog.
She left the dog in my possession. Everything went great. She was playing around with my kids. She was in the house. She was treated like one of my own.
How many children do you have?
I have 2, a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. I went to bed that night. Tater was fine. She was actually sleeping in my bedroom on my floor. My dog's free roam in my house, so it wasn't an issue. She did suffer from incontinence, so it was kind of an issue with my husband, and I told him that I would address it at a later date, that I would get her a crate or something to have her own provisions for that. All my dogs out in my secured backyard, and by 7 a.m. when I got up to get my kids ready for school, I received a text message from my neighbor stating that there was a dog whining in my backyard, and she looked hurt. When I went outside to look for said dog, she was sitting by my back gate, and she had a laceration to her right shoulder. The moment that I had found the dog in that state, I contacted Kendra and said that Tater had been hurt, that she's at my house and that I needed her to come down and get her because I had to get, at this time, this is before COVID, my 2 small children had to be at school by 8 o'clock. I set Tater up in my driveway in an X-Pen, what we use in rescues. I had her bed out there with her and everything. Kendra arrived and picked up Tater and then proceeded to take her to Animal Medical Center in El Cajon due to the laceration on her right shoulder.
So let me understand this, Miss Morgan.
Yes, ma'am.
You called the plaintiff.
Yes, ma'am.
And told her to come and get the dog.
Yes, ma'am.
And take the dog to the vet.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, right now, Miss Morgan, you do understand that the law says that you are the dog's owner.
Okay. I do not know the laws by heart, so I do not know that.
Well, I'll tell you. When she asked you to take the dog, and you agreed to take the dog, and she brought the dog to you and relinquished any interest that she had in the dog.
Yes, ma'am.
To you. So when you called her and asked her to come and get the dog and take the dog to the vet, you were asking her to come and take your dog to the vet. That's the law. I know it may sound ridiculous to you because you had had the dog less than 24 hours, but it's still your dog, and you were asking the former dog's owner to take the dog to the vet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so she, therefore, under those circumstances, as silly as it may sound to a layperson, she was acting as your agent in taking the dog to the vet. So what she's asking for is for you to pay for the dog's vet bill.
Yes, ma'am, and I understand that. She did not request me to pay for the vet bill. I would have gladly paid for the vet bill. I have a stack of bills sitting in front of me that shows that I am a responsible pet owner, that I have paid for.
No. So, Miss Morgan, what did she ask you for?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I did try to call her so many times, and she blocked me.
No, not blocked you. That was later. I'm talking about, do you have any evidence that on the 27th, when you were at the vet, you tried to contact Miss Morgan? The answer is either yes or no.
Former friend Megan Morgan owes for vet bills after she euthanized a dog due to Megan's neglect.
So, Miss Morgan, what did she ask you for?
She didn't ask me. So after she retrieved Tater, she took her to AMC Vet, and she took it upon herself to have the dog euthanized. She didn't seek treatment for the dog. I was then threatened. I had to block her on Facebook.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
You had the dog euthanized because?
They wanted to do surgery, and it was going to be $3,000. And I did not have the money, and they also said with the age that she was at, she might not survive.
Did you tell?
I could not get a hold of Miss Megan.
Well, I would like you to show me on your phone on the 27th of February, sometime early in the morning, that you tried to contact her so that the owner of the dog, because she's the owner, could make a decision as to whether or not the dog should have surgery or should be euthanized. Because if you made that decision by yourself, madam, then you'll pay your own vet bill. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Preliminarily, you gave the dog to the defendant. She asked you, acting as her agent, to pick up the dog to take it to be treated at the vet. You just the vet because of the dog's age and the fact that you didn't have money for surgery to have the dog euthanized. And I have to see that you made efforts to contact the dog's owner because, you know, that doesn't have to be done in a moment. That could be done in an hour or two in the time that you possibly could reach her. Do you have any evidence that on the 27th in the morning, when you were at the vet, you tried to contact Miss Morgan? The answer is either yes or no.
I would have to pull it up, so I do not have...
I have time. If you say you tried to call, don't waste my time. So if you have proof that you tried to call her from the vet, and there's a time frame when you would be at the vet on that morning so that the owner of the dog could make a decision as to whether she wanted to spend the money for surgery or not, I'll read that. If you made the decision, then you pay for the vet bill yourself. And if the vet bill was $700, then that's your responsibility.
I did try to call her so many times, and she blocked me and would not answer my phone calls.
No, not blocked you. That was later. I'm talking about calling her from the vet in the morning of the 27th. Did you call her from the vet the morning of the 27th?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
After the text message was sent that she said I killed her dog, I was neglectful, and she was making up these stories so that they would come and investigate me.
All right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kendra Pesanowski claims former friend Megan Morgan owes for vet bills after she euthanized a dog due to Megan's neglect.
Now, did you call her from the vet the morning of the 27th?
I did. I need to look and find the proof. I need
to... Go.
May I state something while she looks for the proof?
Phone.
May I state something
Sure.
while she looks on the proof? Okay,
Yes.
So after she retrieved the dog, I had gotten the text message later on that evening that she had indeed put the dog down.
Was that the first time you heard from her?
That was the first time that I heard from her. The text
Could
message.
you bring that up?
I would love to. I have a new cell phone. I don't have any of my text messages from my prior phone. My number's been changed and everything.
You brought up the other text message from
That was
prior.
via Messenger off Facebook. So logging into my Facebook is one thing. Getting my actual text messages from my prior cell phone is another. So after the text message was sent that she said I killed her dog because she had to have her euthanized, I received a phone call from animal control stating that there was allegations that I were animals than I was allotted to have on my property, and she was making up these stories so that they would come and investigate me.
All right.
Upon talking to them is when animal control had informed me where the dog was euthanized.
Don't tell me. Don't
Yes, ma'am.
tell me what anybody told you. She had the dog euthanized. She said she did.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I said, first off, the vet has never even heard of any animal ever leaving a dog with these significant injuries in a cage in the cold outside by their driveway, complete neglect. Second, for you to have said you couldn't take her to the vet because yours was closed.
Listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to me. I asked you for a simple thing, not that you're blaming her sometime later. I asked you to find a phone call that you tried to make to her from the vet. Look. It's very unfortunate what happened to your dog. You called the defendant because you couldn't take the dog with you, all three. You made a choice of which one. You chose the oldest one. She took the dog. You brought the dog there. There is absolutely no evidence, and you don't have any evidence, and I certainly don't believe that the defendant did anything to harm your dog. She took your dog and along with her other dogs. By the way, did you tell her that your dog was incontinent?
No, she was not incontinent, ma'am.
When you called her. Okay, yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, do you have any proof that you called her from the vet so that she could make a decision as to whether, because she's now the dog's owner, that she could make the decision about whether to euthanize the dog or to have surgery?
If I had been smart and pulled up the phone records, I would have evidence.
Okay, but you don't.
I don't.
So it's very unfortunate that this dog ended its long life that way. It's always said we can't always pick the way we or our pets go. So your vet bill was $700. Is that what it was?
It was $342.
Yeah, you take care of it yourself. You made the decision on how to treat the dog. You take care of it yourself. Your case is dismissed. We're finished. Thank you.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, their conflict is at a crossroads.
He's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Well, they only sent her 50%. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
Judge Judy.
A chihuahua in a cage in the driveway.
Any dog rescue uses what they call X pins.
When I have an hour drive to go pick her up, and she was still in the cage, bleeding.
The dog was not in a confined space. She had a bed. She had a blanket.
I feel like it's my fault that the dog is dead.
A sad story that the dog